right, welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. Up this time is Creaks. The ground starts shaking, light bulbs are breaking, and something rather unusual is happening right behind the walls of your very room. Equipped with nothing but wit and courage, you slowly descend into a world habited by seemingly deadly furniture monsters. Right, so Creek comes to us from Amantia Design, who are probably best well known for beautifully surreal point and click adventure games like Somerset, Botanicula, and Mechanarium. This
Narium, I
is
actually remember. That was a fun game.
yeah. I was rather partial to Botanicula. If you remember, like Naka did a maiden reactions to that
Oh, right.
100,000.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I mean that was actually a code acquired, well, not from Amantia directly, but from the Humble Bundle. Believe it or not,
Hmm.
that
Well,
they were
that's where I
running
got my the what was it? The Mechanarium.
I think so. Like,
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first humble bundles.
right. Point
Anyway,
is, point is, like, first of all, if you're expecting something like those games here, no. At least not in terms of actual gameplay. In terms of visuals, oh, very much yes.
oh yeah, I
Uh,
can just see it. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you can tell that this is by the same people in that avenue. But in terms of gameplay, it's not a point and click adventure game. It's a Larbs call it a puzzle platformer. This kind of thing annoys me because an actual puzzle platformer involves, platforming. This game doesn't have platforming.
As opposed to a puzzle side view navigation game.
Yes. Like, or just quite frankly, a puzzle game that's side scrolling. Like, that's what this is. It's like how, a first person puzzle game isn't called a first person shooter, people. Like, even if you could, like, fire blocks or something like that. The Turing test.
Hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, this is much more of, like, it's an action puzzle game, which, like I said, it's outside of the usual milieu of the developers here, but they acclimate rather well. I won't say 100%. Honestly, the movement being based off of precise animation, that means it's a bit stiff. Like, though I think that is the intention, because your avatar here, he's like, I'm not sure if he has a name, but once again, another hallmark of Amnesia Design is non-verbal storytelling. Like, there's no dialogue. There might be sound, but it'll be like gibberish stuff, or it's like, or think Banjo-Kazooie or Rayman 2, where they have babbling that substitutes as conversation. Point is, all of the storytelling is told through the visuals and through either like articulation, or, if I remember, Mechanarium, they had word balloons just with visuals in them. Once again, yeah, totally that here. But in this case, it's trying to figure out how to get to the next screen. or the next checkpoint area, if you will. And impeding your progress, is what they call the furniture monsters. They're like robot dogs that patrol. And you've got to either evade or use them to get out of an area. It should not surprise you that I'm going to call him Timmy. That Timmy here lacks any sort of weaponry. Because, once again, this is a thinky game, not a shooty game. It doesn't mean you're completely defenseless. Your tactic for dealing with the furniture monsters / puzzle mechanic are lights. When you turn on a light and it shines on one of these beasts, they freeze up into what looks like a filing cabinet, honestly. And when that light gets turned off, they will be mobile again. The thing
Which,
is,
to be fair, a filing cabinet is approximately furniture.
Fair enough. And anyway, the thing is, you can move these filing cabinets in order to get higher spaces. And yes, that is a solution, if you will. Or it's like what you have to do, but how to get everything into position, that kind of thing. Either by pushing or making sure the furniture monster stops on the right place. The key with the thing about the light is they have to be they won't wander into it. They won't walk into it, and they won't chase you into it. So you have to get the drop on them. That's where the puzzle thinking is. On a much simpler note, it's also just figuring out how to get past these mechanical beasts at some points. Or sometimes, just I'd say being faster. Though there's a limit to that because there's also no run button. Once again, its ingredients are fairly simple, but it's the mixture that makes it a complex, a complex. Not exactly sure what word to use. It's a thing that gives the layering to the gameplay. Now, of course, any one of these worth its salt also has a collectible. In this case, paintings. Amelia, I got one of those, and I'm not sure where. Also, there are painting interludes with characters you can manipulate. In the one I got to, guy who had to jump over wood, I think. And it's all a bit abstract, so it's a bit hard to tell. Point is really simple, but it is more interactive than I initially thought it was. Admittedly, I didn't get as far into this game as I wanted to. Things and stuff happen. I had other games to focus on. So, but really strong package here. Honestly, one of the best games I've played so far this year. It's January, so that doesn't mean much, but I'm pleased to report that even though Creaks is, a bit different than other works in the Amnesia design catalog, it still lives up to the pedigree. Both aesthetically, mechanically, and in terms of the storytelling prowess. But in fact, I like it a bit better than, say, Mechanarium, which is a bit too blunt. Even though they weren't speaking things out. Like, still. Anyway, in terms of pricing, this game clocks in at $20. Gotta admit, it's a bit of an ask there. Like, I think 15 would have been a better price for it. Like,
how long is it?
That's a good question. I don't know. But knowing Amnesia design, probably not all that long. Like, Mechanarium wasn't that long, or Botanicula. Somerset was really small. And it does have a collector's edition with the soundtrack. Soundtrack was fairly moody. Not really. It's definitely one of those enhances the atmosphere of the game, but not something I really want to listen to outside of the game. So, anyway. Yeah, I think that's about all I got. It's definitely one of those games that I wanted to put more time into. Alas. Anyway, so that'll do it for not just the review, but the review session. So coming up on the week ahead, I suppose first on the topic of MSP, honestly, I don't know. Like, if you don't know, we tried broadcasting out on Wednesday, and one of Mac's computers had a sound malfunction. Like, I think the motherboard, something wrong with his motherboard.
Yeah, something wrong with the audio stuff on it. I mean, hopefully I'm in a position where if I need to, I can host.
I mean, as far as I know, the guest is a go, but he's a bit dicey there because his job may come into play. That's a situation. Like, but point is, MSP is a bit up in the air this week, but not due to Mac's life problems.
For once.
It's due to his electronics not working. I don't know if that's going to be fixed by Wednesday. Mac hasn't given us an update. And here's the thing, it's Mac, so
we may know 0 hour.
I mean, unless you can do motherboard surgery, that's not something you can just fix, I don't think.
However, depends.
The easy fix would be getting, a lot of analog to USB converters.
Best case, it's just a driver issue that he flashes a new driver on and it's fine. Worst case, it's damaged, and I hope he knows how to use a soldering iron.
Okay. You know more about it than I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, we really don't know what's going to happen on Wednesday. I think that's the best way of putting it right now. But in terms of Fragments of Silicon, which is a much more stable show, anyway, on Wednesday, January 31st, we'll be having Brett Burin of Blowfish Studios on the program. Blowfish has made appearances on the show over the years. I don't know if Brett has repped them before, or if he's new.
Right.
It's been a few years, kind of distanced myself from them when they were going through their NFT phase.
Right. Because NFTs are bad.
Yes. But, we'll be talking about the game Phantom Galaxies, primarily, which is a expansive online multiplayer sci-fi RPG set in a vast and immersive universe. Though there is a problem here, it's got Web3 integration and is touting the potential of the blockchain. So we're going to have to deal with that.
All right, so bring alcohol for podcast on Wednesday. Got it.
Yeah. So they have other games, but I don't know how far they went down the blockchain hole.
Mm-hmm.
And how enthusiastic they are about that, since, you know, it's not the panic du jour anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's about 2 tech scares ago, by my reckoning. You know, it was then moved to NFTs, which I know is a subset of the blockchain, but, you know, now it's generative AI. Like, anyway, should be interesting on Wednesday, if nothing else. And we do have a Friday show scheduled, and I'm pleased to say that the guest has confirmed. So that's looking like it's happening. On Friday, February 2nd, we'll be having Oleg Klepowski. I do not like pronouncing Polish surnames.
That's fair.
Of Sneg. Right, so Sneg is a publisher of the old school. That is to say, they are in the business of reviving classic games and releasing them on modern systems. Looking a bit into their background, they're a bit of a spin-off of GOG. Like, apparently they were
like
born out
site.
of good old games. Because they've actually published a bunch of games that GOG revived for their platform on Steam, like the Forgotten Realms Archives, which is all the Forgotten Realms Gold Box games and the Silver Box games and the Dragonlance stuff. They revived all the classic AD&D stuff for Steam, for example. And they're the ones who have published the remastered version of Chasm the Rift, which was a bit of a surprise, since I was pretty sure Night Dive was going to get that at some point. But no, it was Sneg. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, so until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.